Shalom. First and foremost, call halal Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem Rahakodash. So our praises to the Heavenly Father in the name of His only begotten Son, in the name of the Holy Spirit, in the ancient Paleo Hebrew tongue. Double honors to our teachers, the beloved apostles and elders, a great millstone who teach and rule well. And peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect. You IQ pushing this word in truth and sincerity across the four winds of the earth, as well as the men, women, and children alike, the believers. Shalom. It's your brother Karai Tazah coming with a quick lesson. Adawan Ratazah, Lord willing. I pray that it's edifying, and it's entitled, "The Famine is Coming, the Elect Will Eat." TheCooldown.com. Experts issue warning as strange paradox jeopardizes major city. Days with no supply at all. Now, this is in Brazil, in Rio. No, not Rio. Sao Paulo. 21 million residents contending with a drought, the worst drought in a decade, while at the same time having severe flash floods. So the reservoir levels are at 32% capacity, despite the huge rainstorms that are going on. And so they're saying that sometimes the water comes on, but it stops around 9:30 p.m. But there have been days with no supply at all. So this is, over there in Brazil. And, that's just the beginning, because, the Lord's anger is just getting kindled. And the scriptures speak about, many perishing and being destroyed when the Lord's anger is just beginning to kindle. Okay, now let's go here. The morning overview. It says new research warns America's grid could crash. So this is the Lord's doing upon the earth. The Lord is taking hold upon the earth, and He's finna send these plagues. He's gearing up His angels, and they're finna bring this thing home. Now all of this is because they're saying things are not operated how they used to, which is coal based, just spinning generators, right? This country is not relying on these things anymore for coal and gas and nuclear plants to power the energy. And the country is now calibrated or powered by an electric grid. All the systems, So they're saying there's no solution. The only solution that they found to help the grid not fail, this is what they say. Most of the points are in the end of the paragraphs. So this is the end, the last paragraph and the end of it. It says, addressing that gap, which is talking about the issue, the gap, will require technical collaboration, regulatory attention, and a willingness from manufacturers to treat negative sequence performance, not as a proprietary detail, but as a shared responsibility for keeping the lights on. So basically, everyone has to come together to find a solution. And that's not part of the plan. That's not part of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai's plan, nor these so-called bankers' plans. Theirs is to bring destruction upon you and to force you into subjection and servitude, and to give up all your rights and your privileges and life as you know it. And the Lord's is to destroy you. All right, and to bring the kingdom. This is real quick. This has to be understood. Ezekiel 14 and verse 13. Because the Lord is bringing these plagues. It says, Son of man, when the land sinneth against me by trespassing grievously, then, which is breaking the law, statutes, and commandments, it says, then will I stretch out mine hand upon it, and will break the staff of the bread thereof, and will send famine upon it, and will cut off man and beast from it. So when there's an electric grid failure, there's no food. There's no food being stored in the coolers, nor heated up. There's no power. So that's gonna be the beginning of a famine. You see, 24/7 food recipes.com. 10 signs a food shortage could be closer than you think. It says increased food prices are hitting hard. Okay, of course we're seeing that. It says supply chain disruptions are emptying shelves, uh, which is like the scam plandemics. These different situations that they're bringing about. And there's another one coming. What a coincidence. They're talking about one that's way worse and more fatal than the last sickness that was 2020. But it says number 3, crop failures linked to climate change, and that's the Lord's doing. Of course, they got these weather changing, weather manipulating systems that they can affect the weather, but it's the Lord that's controlling them to do that. Don't be simple. We know the Lord does all things, man. These people in the world don't get that. They don't. The Lord didn't give them that understanding. So, verse number 4: global conflicts and trade restrictions disrupt supply. We're definitely seeing that, global conflicts and trade disruption, especially with your boy in office. So, shrinking agriculture workforce threatens production. We see shrinking agriculture. Farmers being targeted and attacked. So, what do you think that's gonna bring? When there's no farms, you know, you can count it. You can wrap it up. Surging global food demand stretches resources. There's always going to be a high food demand. 7 billion people in the world. It says rising fuel prices drive up food costs. I guess the truckers, the transporting of the food. It says food waste continues to drain supplies. Changing consumer habits put pressure on supply. Government alerts and reports raise the alarm. So it's coming either way. Basically, there's no stopping it. It's like a train with no brakes. It says here, Deuteronomy 28 verse 53, and thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body, the flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters, which the Lord Yahweh thy God hath given thee in the siege and in the straitness wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee. You see, and that's part of the curses, and we're still under the curses. And 2/3 of our people feel the brunt of these hardcore curses that are still upon us. And these people think that they're dead. The curses ain't dead, man. The curses are alive and well. When you go to these comments real quick, if I can find it. Yeah, here it is. This is the one of the article. New research warns America's grid could crash. So this is the spirit, because look at what this guy's saying, man, in the comment. This is the spirit. Only a matter of when, right? It's not a matter of time, a matter of if, it's a matter of when this is going to happen. It says the magnetic poles are shifting faster than ever. And that's because the Lord is doing wonders in the earth. 2 Ezra chapter 9. New endings and the signs and effects, speeding the time up, all type of things. It says, leaving a very weak shield, and X-Class 10 can knock us back into the Stone Age. Just think, 120 days after the flare, cannibalism. And it's not 120 days, man. It's going to be way quicker than that, more like 3 days. Right? Some people they're going to go straight to, cannibalism. So, and 2/3 are still playing and not taking heed to the prophets. still in La La Land. So, and this is what happened in the past. So we supposed to be learning from these and fearing. The stories that are written aforetime are written for our learning. We supposed to be reading the scriptures and fearing the Lord because we know what what he did, and what he's capable, what he's finna do, and what he's capable of. 2 Kings chapter 6 and verse. I'm gonna just start at 28 straight to the point. And the king said unto her, this is during the siege. It says, what aileth thee? And she answered, and this is just one siege, but it says, and she answered, this woman said unto me, give thy son that we may eat him today, and we will eat my son tomorrow. I think this was Babylon, but there was also a siege in 70 AD in Rome. But it says, so the woman, they had a deal to eat one woman's son today, and tomorrow they will eat the next woman's son. So it says, so we boiled my son and did eat him. And I said unto her on the next day, give thy son that we may eat him. And she hath hid her son. You see? So this is going to happen. This is about to happen. Haggai chapter 1 and verse 10. Therefore the heaven over you is stayed from dew, and the earth is stayed from her fruit, because our people refuse to take heed to Yahweh Shemiah Shah. That's why the Lord is sending these plagues. Okay. He's just like in Brazil. Brazil is Jake, Israelites, Northern Kingdom. So they're refusing to take heed to the Lord. So he's not letting it rain. It's a drought, and it's at the same time as rainstorms. Come on, that's a wonder, you know. It says, and I called for a drought upon the land, and upon the mountains, and upon the corn, and upon the new wine, and upon the oil, and upon that which the ground bringeth forth, and upon men, fruits and vegetables. It says, and upon cattle, the animals, the cows. And upon all the labor of the hands. All right? Because why? Because they refused. When you read in Haggai, it says, ye looked for, verse 9, ye looked for much, and lo, it came to little. And when ye brought it home, I did blow upon it. Why? Why did the Lord blow, meaning to destroy, like he's blowing, hail upon the crops and water to flood the crops and drought? Why? It says, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, because of mine house that is waste, and ye run every man unto his own house, because the Lord told them, it's finna, y'all gonna build me a house, to build the house of the Lord. And he was saying that everybody's, not building the house, basically not taking heed to his word, his commandments. So therefore he's gonna bring a drought, and that house is symbolic to the spiritual house of David that we're building today. Meaning we are all bricks. We are all those stones, those lively stones, the elect, which is supposed to be, Israel. All of Israel is supposed to be the elect. I mean, it's supposed to be, the house of the Lord. But in this time, the Lord is only dealing with a remnant. So it says, Psalms 37 and 18, the Lord knoweth the days of the upright, and their inheritance shall be forever. And that's the elect, that's taking heed, repenting, turning back to the Lord, seeking him 10 times more with fear and trembling and sincerity, putting all our eggs in that basket, not thinking like, there might be I might have another way. No. It says, the Lord knoweth the days of the upright, and their inheritance shall be forever. And that's the kingdom. We seeking the kingdom, a place this is not our rest. We're pilgrims, spiritually seeking that spiritual place. Isaiah 65 and 13, therefore thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Behold, my servants shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of spirit, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. And then that's 2/3. They're going to howl. They're going to starve to death. As the scriptures say in 2 Ezra, many shall perish of famine. And they're gonna, be thirsty, faint, especially without the word, the knowledge and wisdom of the Yahweh Shemel Shah was just likened unto the waters, living waters. But they're gonna be through altogether, just parched in a desert spiritually. And it says, they shall not be ashamed in the evil time. Psalms 37:19. This is the elect, the remnant. They shall not be ashamed in the evil time. And in the days of famine, they shall be satisfied. See, the elect, the servants of the Lord, are going to eat. It says, but the wicked shall perish, and the enemies of the Lord Yahweh shall be as the fat of lambs. They shall consume into smoke. They shall consume away. All right. Job chapter 5 and verse 19. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. In famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. Okay, so that's just, an update on the famine is still coming, still underway. Things are intensifying on every level, and we just gotta just lock in and go with that flow of the spirit, moving with the spirit as those lambs following the shepherd. We are all lambs, following the ultimate shepherd, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Shai, Shai, through following our teachers, right, in this body, just like in the so-called ancient world, right? Even when Yahweh Shai was on the scene teaching the disciples that was following him, right? We are still a part of that sheep, that body, that sheepfold, following the shepherd, just as the believers did back then. I always try to hearken on that and just meditate on that. We're the Lord is with us just as He was with them, and we're following them just as we did back then. Lord willing, we'll be at that number. All right, so Lord's will, I pray this lesson was edifying, and then they giving all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, or Hakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone who teach and rule well. And peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect. Kwam Yashala, Abad Babal, Soon, and Shalom. Shalom.